Hi guys, Adam here. I'm with Adam. We're outside Old Trafford, 0-0 today. Better or same?
First half was better. You know, I think I'd kind of anyone that was sat in that ground at half time, I think would have been relatively happy given the results over the past few weeks with that first half performance. But when things get shit and the game isn't quite turning out as things are planned, that's when you start to realise how good the players you've got are and what kind of character they've got. And I think, listen, you know, there's a lot been talked about Van Gaal not getting up on the touchline, and I think we need to see more of that when things aren't going well. You want to see that the manager's got as much passion, as much fight as the players have, and I don't doubt that he has. You know, we've seen that in his press conferences, but we also need to see that in the ground. If you're sat there as a fan trying to sing songs about the players that are out there and sing songs about the club, the last thing you want to see is the manager looking like he doesn't give a shit. And I think the same goes to the players. When things aren't working out, when the tactical plan isn't quite working, Chelsea start getting back into the game, you want to start seeing the players pick the ball up and just say, listen, right, we're going to do something with this now. We're going to turn this game around. We're going to make things work. We're going to do what Roy Keane used to do. We're going to do what Paul Scholes done in the past. He picks the ball up and he does something with it that no one expects. And we're not seeing that. I think there's been so much talked about Van Gaal leaving, Mourinho coming in, whether or not it's the players' fault, the manager's fault, the club's fault. Ultimately, it's everyone's responsibility now. And somebody, whoever it is, whether it is the manager, whether it is Wayne Rooney, whether it is Schweinsteiger, whether it is Memphis, someone needs to pick that ball up in a football match at Old Trafford, at the Britannia, against Norwich, against Stoke, and do something and make something happen and show why they're at this football club in the first place. And we just haven't seen any of that in the past few weeks, and it's a shame.
Do you feel then not enough players are taking responsibility out there on the pitch for their own performances and the results, and maybe they're buying into the criticism that Louis van Gaal's getting and thinking that this ain't our fault, it's the
possibly. Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a big culture at the minute in football where, you know, you get to 2-3 years and players realise they've got it comfortable. And if anyone's going to be blamed, it's going to be the manager. And listen, Van Gaal has to take a lot of stick for how things have gone over the past few weeks, over the past few months. But ultimately, he isn't the one with the ball at his feet, on the grass, playing football. So at some point, someone has to turn around and just pick the game up by the scruff of the neck and make something happen. We've seen it happen before. The number of times we don't realise because we knew that it was Alex Ferguson, but the number of times that Alex Ferguson didn't have to do anything because he knew that Ryan Giggs would pick the ball up, David Beckham would pick the ball up, Eric Cantona would pick the ball up and do something with it. And we've seen absolutely none of that. And I think everyone at the club, whoever you point the finger at, Woodward, Van Gaal, the players, every single one of them needs to realise what kind of club they're at, what football club they're at, and start putting a shift in and do something about the results.
The players that we're relying on to score goals, the likes of Memphis, Martial, clearly got great potential, but they're very young.
Yeah,
so should we expect these inconsistent performances? Or?
Well, yeah, but at the minute, there's nothing inconsistent about United's performances.
Consistently shit.
Consistently poor. So yes, we'd expect inconsistency, but when you're not seeing glimpses, I think Memphis now, we've not seen a real glimpse from him for a long time, and I think that's the real worry. The confidence is completely shot, and I feel for Van Gaal a little bit. It's not all his fault. He's done some things that are wrong, and I'm not Van Gaal in or Van Gaal out. I think that you can't. It's a very difficult thing to put yourself in either camp, but it's clearly come to the end of the road. I can't see how now he can turn this around. Ultimately, he's only here for 3 years. And if he was here for longer, maybe you'd back him and you'd just say, listen, let's ride through this period. He's going to be here for the next 5-10 years, but he isn't going to be. So if he leaves the club in a state, be it his fault or somebody else's, in 18 months' time, you then need someone to pick the pieces up. Maybe it's time for someone to come in and do something about it now.
Cheers, Ad.